Hi all, welcome to the Salesforce Ultimate Guide channel. Today we will start with the LWC session 8. I hope you guys have followed my earlier 7 LWC videos and practiced along. The very hands-on practice gives us the confidence. Once we cover all the LWC basics, we will work on real-time projects. So whenever we practice so much, we will be able to answer the questions easily in the interview. We will start with our session 8 today. In today's session, we are going to cover all these points. First, I will read out all the points and we will go through them in the deeper manner. So, Lightning Data Service, wire adapters and functions. Today, we are going to study about Lightning Data Service, wire adapters and functions. Use this to get the raw record data like pick list, record info, object info, etc. Use when you want more customization to create forms. Use when you want to perform business logics. And we are going to use Lightning UI API modules. Here's your first I will open my design file. So we are already aware that we have something like browser and server, and the Lightning Web component will be interacting with the Lightning Data Service. And using this Lightning Data Service will be interacting with the user interface API. And finally, that will be interacting with the database. So since we have the Lightning Data Service, we can fetch the data from the database very easily. And we have all these user interface API modules, so which will help us to get the data very easily on our component. So the very first task of today is we want to print the user detail using where the person who has logged into the system, we want to print his ID. And then second will be printing the email and the name. Third will be printing the name and email using the function and the property. And finally, we are going to use the get object info method. Okay. So what are all the components? What are the UI list, UI API modules that we are going to study? Lightning UI object info API, Lightning UI list API, Lightning UI record API, Lightning UI app API. Okay. The very first method we get is at the rate wire. So what is at the rate wire? The wire service provisions the function and object with the error and data properties. Just like a wired property, the function is invoked whenever a value is available, which can be before or after the component is connected or rendered. So this wire we use that helps us to provision the function of an object with error and data properties. So let us say that I want to fetch something from the database, and that should be a refresh data, and whenever anything changes and I want to see the new changes, we can use this at the rate wire function, and that will help us to get the data very easily. And then at the rate wire service and using fetch user details. So we are going to start with our mini component that is using to fetch the user details. Wire service is built on top of Lightning Data Service, and this is the syntax: import adapter ID from the adapter module. On the very top, where we write all the import line side, we import syntax. So within that, we need to write the adapter ID from the adapter module. So what is this adapter ID? So this is adapter ID is kind of method which is built on the Lightning interface. So we have our get record, get object info. These are all are the adapter IDs. So import get record from adapter module. So adapter modules are like they are the packages where the complete this one is written code packages. So from those code packages we can easily fetch. And then this is the most important. This is the most important syntax which we are going to use at the rate wire, and we will be passing the first parameter as adapter ID, and second one is the adapter configuration. Finally, this will be returning something, the response that will be collected by either a property or a function variable. So this is we are going to work study more deeply on this. The very first one we are going to use get record. Use this wire adapter to get a records data. Get object info. Use this adapter to get metadata about a specific object. The response includes metadata describing the object's fields, child relationship, record type, and theme. Okay. The very first task of today is printing the user's ID. Okay. So for that we will start by creating a new component. So when we are, what is the syntax? The syntax is import adapter ID from adapter module. So we have this get record. First, we will study about the get record. So you can refer the component library as much as possible. So you will be very clear with what are the syntax and how we can use that. Get record, use this wire adapter to get a records data. Let us say that I want to get the user's data, okay, user record data. So here we have to write import get record from Lightning UI record API. So this is the package from where we want to utilize this method. So that is get record, okay. And then in the at the rate wire, we have to pass this particular adapter ID. And then within this flower bracket, we can pass the record ID string, which record ID we want to get the data, and what are the fields we want to display. All these things can be passed here. So here the parameters description is there, record ID, the ID of a record from a separated object, and fields, a field or an array of fields to return. If the context user doesn't have access to a field, an error is returned. And we have layout types, modes, optional fields, property or function. So this is the important one. A private property or function that receives the stream of data from the wire service. If a property is decorated with wire, the results are returned to the property's data property or error property. If a function is decorated with where, the results are returned in an object with a data property and an error property. So these are the going things we are going to see. Data. If in the records response, don't use the record info property, use the record ID property is returned. So data and error will be returned. Okay, we are going to start it. First, we will, along with the lightning component element, we are going to import the wire, then import adapter is get record, from in this we have to pass lightning UI record API, and then let us say that I want to get the user ID. So import ID from at the rate Salesforce user ID. If we use this, we can easily get the current login user ID. So I'm going to write the same. Then finally, this variable I'm going to store it in one variable, local variable equal to and assign this particular ID here, and I'm going to print this on our UI. So the very first we'll copy one of the lightning card from our previous example. Remove all the things we have written inside, and the name we are going to get, and here we are going to print this particular user ID. So the local property is user ID. I'm going to give it here. Finally, we need to display it on the UI. So as per our ritual, we have to make the changes in our meta XML file. Like is expressed true and like targets is lightning app page. I'm going to deploy this. So I have created with one more wire service as a lightning app page. I'm going to place it on that page. Yeah, now we can see that get record data demo. So this one, now we can see the this particular user ID, and if I want to read double check whether it is a proper user ID or not, I can just go and paste it here. Yeah, now I can go to the user detail record. So that is how we can easily fetch the user ID. But let us say that I want to fetch the user's detail, name and email as well. But this is not so easy. We can get the user's email and name. So to get that, we are going to use the get record method. So we will start using the same. We'll start with @wire, that is the syntax, and the first one we need to pass the adapter ID. Adapter ID is this get record, and the second one is we have to pass the adapter configuration. Adapter configuration we need to pass it from within the flower bracket. Okay. What are the things we need to pass? We can pass the record ID as well as the fields. So record ID is the record ID is the value which we got here. So this person's data we want to print. So that's why I am passing the record ID of this particular ID. Okay. And then the second thing is we need to pass the fields. So what is the syntax how we need to pass the fields is fields colon and the string array of string, user dot name comma user dot email. So these are the this is the user object, and from that one I want to fetch the name. From user object I want to fetch the email. Finally, this red mark is coming because whatever the response it is returning, we have to store it in one of the either we can store it in one of the property or a function. So the very good approach will be going with the proper function, because we can see the data, we can print those things in the console, and we can see whether the data is coming properly or not. So I'm storing it in this particular function. and it will be returning either data or error. So we can print the data by using if data is returned, then console.log the data. If error is returned, console.log the error. Console.error the error. Mhm. Okay, I'm going to deploy this and see the output. So we are doing the console.log of data that we can easily see by going to this page, and when we click on inspect, click on the console, and here we have the object. API name is user, site relationship names, fields. So we want to get the values of email and name. So that we got you by using print by particular this calling this method at the rate wire get record method. Now let us say that I want to display those on the UI. We can do it using what is our next target to display? Yeah, user detail using wire and email and the name. So we can copy paste the um yeah, email and the name, and the title of this is user detail using wire, name and the email we want to print. So first we need to fetch those data in the uh, JavaScript. I'll store it in one of the variable username, user detail, and within this I'll remove this console.log data. I'll store the data in this dot user detail is equal to. So I'm storing the data, whatever the data is coming in this particular variable, user detail. And what is the data we are going to store? I want to store the data of this one. Fields, email, and name. Okay. So within this object, the fields is the variable. This is the object is the data and the fields. Data dot fields. This is how we can easily store the data dot fields. You can easily store this information in the user detail variable, and then from that user detail variable we can print it here. Dot email. First one is name and the second one is email. Let us deploy and see. Yeah, we got an error, a component error has occurred. Cannot read properties of undefined reading name. Okay. So how we can solve that is, first let me write the solution. Name dot value dot value. I'll explain why I have written like that. I'll also do the console.log here. So we are getting this error because the data did not come. To check whether the data is available or not, we can use the template property. If true of user detail, then only print these things. So it will make sure that if the user detail is having some value, then only this will be displayed. And I am going to wrap it in the div tag. And deploy this. Yeah, now we can print the name and the email. Okay, and then okay. Right now I have used one of the uh, this is as a function to get the data. But let us say that we want to do the same thing, but we want to do is using the property method. Okay, so to do that, I'll just copy paste this particular lightning card again. User detail using where here I'll write as function. Here I'll write it as property. And then within this, uh, we are going to call one more wire, and we'll pass the same things here as well. I'm going to store it in one of the property user detail property. So if the method returns the data, that will be present in this particular this particular property. Okay, and then if I want to display that here, user detail using where as property, I'm going to display using, I'll remove these things. I'll paste this new property. And then first we need to check here. Within this object, we have the fields, and then within that we have the email, and then within that we have the value. Okay. So user detail property dot data, and within that we have the fields. Within that we have the name and value. Uh, Let us say from property, or always it is written in the data method. So user detail dot property and data dot then fields dot email dot value, fields dot name dot then value. So that is how we are writing this. Yeah, now we are able to get it as a using as a function, and another method we are getting it as a property. Okay. Next, we are going to study about get object info. Use this adapter to get the metadata about a specific object. The response includes metadata describing the object's fields and child relationships, record type, and theme. Okay, so we will first see the syntax get object info. So we can refer the component library as much as possible. We'll get to know the proper syntaxes. So import get object info from Lightning UI object info API. and this is how we are going to use. So which object we know we want to get the data. So import account object from the Salesforce schema account. So I want to get the accounts data, accounts metadata, and then this is how we are passing it into the wire method. Let us start on the practicals. The very first thing we are going to write import object info from this one. Yeah, import get object info from Lightning UI object info API. From Lightning UI object info API. So LWC has given the suggestion and it automatically got loaded, and we have to import the wire as well. And then I want to import the accounts metadata. So giving account object from, I think you guys already used this function, Salesforce slash schema slash account. Import account object from @Salesforce slash schema slash account. Okay, here is the problem. Okay, then within this, we're going to write the wire method. So what is the syntax? Get object info adapter, and then we have to pass the object API name. So here we can see object API name. These are the parameters we are going to pass, and we are going to get the property or function and prior property or function that receives the stream of data from the wire service. So for this case, we want to print get object info demo API name and the default record type ID. So to get these things, so this is the adapter, and then the syntax is object API name account object. So to pass this object account object. Then I'm going to store it in one variable. That will return either data or error. If data comes, error comes, console.log the error. Okay, let us deploy and see. Get object info demo. We'll paste the metadata information here. And within the template, first we are going to paste our code component. Get object info demo. Yeah, we will deploy this and see the output. To reload the page. I need to place that component here. Subject info demo one. We will check in the console. Yeah, within this object we have API name, account, and we can see child relationships. So it is having 73 child relationship with different objects. Use this get object info. Use this adapter to get the metadata about a specific object. The response include metadata describing the object's fields, child relationships, record type, and theme. Okay, so here we can see child relationships, dependent fields. So within the account we have these many different fields that we can fetch easily, and then name fields is there, and then record type infos is there, record type ID, record, and then within the record type infos we have record type ID, and then theme info is there. So we have this default record type ID within this object. Okay, I want to print this data. So to print that data, I'm going to define one variable here, default record type ID. And when the data is returned, I'm going to store it in that using data dot default record type ID. And also I want to get the object name as well. So right, object name data dot. So the object name is stored in the API name, or I can use the same variable to make the confusion less. Finally, I'm going to display it in one of the div tag. Yes, so now we are able to print the object name and then the default record type ID. So this is how we can use the get object info uh, method, and we can easily fetch the metadata of a particular object. So that's all for this particular video. If you guys like the video, please click on the like button. That will encourage me to come up with more good videos for the future. Thank you so much.